Video 1. This is the introduction to the measures of central tendency. In everyday life, it is often important to collect data, perhaps from a survey or a questionnaire. Once we have collected the data, it is then important to arrange it in a way that will allow someone to analyze the information so that conclusions or decisions can be made. Mathematicians have called this study of data statistics. When you have a lot of data, it is helpful to be able to boil it down into a small collection of numbers. Ideally, we would like to have one number to help capture the essence of the data set. This idea is known as measuring the central tendency. It tells us where the middle of a bunch of data lies. There are several measurements of central tendency, but today we'll be focusing on the mean. The mean is just a fancy way to say average. To find the mean, add up all the data values together and divide them by the number of values. Here's an example. In her last game, Sarah has scored the following numbers of points respectively: 13, 16, 11, 17, and 18. What is the mean, or the average, of these scoring totals? To determine the mean, all we have to do is add up the points and then divide by the number of games she played. So we have 13 plus 16 plus 11 plus 17 plus 18. If we add all these numbers together, our sum is 75. Now our next step is to take our sum, which is 75, and divide it by the total of number in our data set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice we have 5 numbers, so we're dividing this by 5. The answer is 15. Sarah's scoring mean was 15 points per game. Let's try another one. During the first week of April last year, the temperature for the first week was as follows: 5 degrees, 7 degrees, 2 degrees, 6 degrees, 4 degrees, 3 degrees, and 8 degrees. If we add up all the numbers in this data set, it equals 35. 35 is our sum. Our next step is to divide by the number of days in the week. Since there are 7 days in a week, we're going to divide 35 by 7. 35 divided by 7, we ask ourselves, how many times will 7 fit into 35? The answer is 5. The data tells us the average, or the mean temperature for this week, was 5 degrees. Now, I would like you to try to find the mean of the next data set. Two, 4, 3, 3. Please pause the video now and calculate the mean or the average. Remember, all you need to do is add up the list of numbers and divide by the sum of numbers by the total numbers in the data set. Let's see how you did. The numbers in our data set were 2, 4, 3, and 3. If we add them all up and find the sum of the numbers, the answer is 12. Next, we need to take our sum, which is 12, and divide it by the number of items in our data set. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 numbers in this data set, which means we need to take our 12 and divide it by 4. We ask ourselves, how many times does 4 fit into 12? The answer is 3. The mean of this data set is 3. Let's try another example together. In this data set, we have 20, 50, 40, 70, 40, and 80. I would like you to pause the video now and calculate your own mean. Thank you for pausing the video. Again, let's see how you did. If we add up all the numbers in our data set, the sum is equal to 300. Next, I take 300 and divide it by 6 because there are 6 numbers in my data set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 300 divided by 6. Well, I know that 6 will fit into 35 times, so I know that 6 has to fit into 350 times. The mean, or the average of my data set, is 50. The numbers I used were very friendly. By that, I mean that they were very easy to add up and divide. If the numbers are more complicated, you may use a calculator to help you find the answers. Remember, your teacher is not assessing whether you can add and/or divide for this outcome. We simply want to see that you were able to correctly calculate the mean or the average of a given data set. I would now like you to complete the Try This section.